On Monday, Georgia Republican Senate nominee Herschel Walker returned to the campaign trail in his effort to unseat Democratic incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock. Walker stuck mostly to his usual stump speech, attacking Warnock for being a consistent yes vote to President Biden's agenda. Walker also swiped Warnock on the issues of wokeness and his management of an apartment complex for the impoverished as head of the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Recent polls show the race neck and neck, with many political observers believing that turnout of Republican voters is key. Incumbent Republican Governor Brian Kemp easily won re-election in November, but it was crossover votes to Warnock that kept victory out of Walker's reach. Because neither Walker or Warnock broke 50% of the vote earlier this month, they are competing again in a runoff on December 6th.
I don't hear you. Let's go. And Georgia's winning, aren't they? You know, how about them dogs? Well, before every speech I ever make, I always acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So he said, if you don't acknowledge him, he won't acknowledge you. And I also want to acknowledge my wife, Julie, who's in this fight with me. This is a fight. And Dr. Carson, I got to thank he and all the one got up there and spoke, because what a day the Lord has made. Let him rejoice and be glad in it. You know, he was talking about, we're in a runoff. I hope all y'all know we're in a runoff. But I was built for it. Yes, I was built for this, and I'm going to tell you guys the reason why. Because as I was looking back over my life, I thought my life had something to do with football, and I realized my life had nothing to do with football. God was preparing me for this time right now. Yes, I'm from Wrightsville, Georgia, and I tell everyone, if you got 1 year to live, move to Wrightsville, because that year's forever. Same old, same old. Well, my mom said I was big bone. Y'all know what that meant, that I was fat. And I used to have a speech impediment, so for years I never had spoken in a classroom. For years I never went out for a recess. And all of a sudden, because of the blessing of God, because of his grace, he got me to go to the University of Georgia. And because of his grace, he got me to win a Heisman Trophy. And I ran with some of the fastest people in the world. And guys, I'm 220 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. So I ran with some of the fastest people in the world. And I did all these incredible things. And I thought my life had to do with this athletic world. And then all of a sudden God had to break me, because he said I wasn't ready yet. And guys, I never drank before in my life, never tasted beer, never had any alcohol, never taken any drugs, don't take medicine. God has been so good to me, and they told me I had a mental problem. Think about it. He said, I got a mental problem. Like, wait a minute, Herschel got a mental problem? I'm talking about myself in third person, but I know that. So I decided, I'm not a Democrat, but I decided I was going to go to this hospital out in California. And I went out to this hospital in California, and I remember sitting in my first group session, and I go, whoa, these people are crazy. Yes, they are. These people are crazy. I'm not like them. And because of my upbringing, my mom and my dad, they taught me that we all fall short of the glory of God. But you have to be repentant. You have to repent. And God will wash you in his blood and bring you back out. And God brought me back out, and he said, now you're ready, Herschel. You're ready now. And I didn't know what he was talking about, but I'm going to tell you what he was talking about. Because there was this man that he knew I had to face. This man was named Raphael Warnock. Yes, he's this minister, the man out of cloth in Dr. King's church. And Dr. King is one of the greatest leaders we ever had, that used to tell people that it's not the color of your skin, but the content of your character. But all of a sudden, I'm going against this man that all he sees is the color of your skin. And then I heard him the other day said, to be a senator, you have to know stuff. And I'm like, what did he know? Because he's been a terrible senator, so he don't know too much. Because y'all saw him at a debate, he didn't know anything, did he? Y'all saw me bring him to his knees, and he became Scooby-Doo. Because they asked him a question, they said, sir, will you vote for Biden in 2024? And he go, oh. And I'm like, yeah. So he said, you have to know stuff, and I'm going to tell y'all right now what he don't know. Because he voted 4 times against the Keystone Pipeline. And y'all know what that meant, that we're giving up our energy to our enemy. We're going to our enemy to ask for energy. Well, first of all, do they know the definition of energy? Do they know the definition of enemy? Enemy means people that don't like you, and we're going to them for help. Well, they started trying to give you the definition of a woman. But this is a man out of cloth don't know the definition of a woman, which is written in that great book that he should be reading. And it says man and woman. So that tells you he didn't know that. And he also didn't know that a man can't get pregnant. I'm going to let y'all know that. Man can't get pregnant. Get it out of your mind. That's not going to happen. They say you have to know stuff. Well, we can drill here in America. We don't have to go to nowhere else to ask for anything, but we can get it all done right here. And do you know, if we get it done right here, our economy gets better as well, because we create jobs. We start getting these small businesses, because we get rid of some of these regulations that the government is putting on you, because I believe in the people, not the government. So it's we the people, not we the government. That's what we got to get out of this government thing. But the guy I'm running against believes in the government. And I don't know if y'all noticed that in that debate, he said, Herschel, you want the government to control our lives. And he was totally wrong. Y'all saw that. He was totally wrong, but he got confused about it, because he was getting confused because they brought up what he's doing as a man out of cloth to these poor people at Columbia Tower. I don't know if you saw that. This is a place that his church, that he owns 99% of. It's a place that he has these people less fortunate, that he's evicting them out of their home for less than $28. Yet he gets $7,400 a month. And I'm saying he don't know that God don't like people like that. God don't like stuff like that. So he don't know this. He said you got to know something. So I'm telling him right now, why don't he go by what God's been teaching him, is the feel for people less fortunate than himself. But he believes more in himself than he believes in the people. Because he said on the pulpit, now people have been preaching about me on the pulpit. Can you believe that? He said because I've been calling him out on his evildoings, that I'm talking about Jesus, because he's compared himself to Jesus that I'm talking about. And then he said I'm talking about Martin Luther King. That's what he said. But I need to let him know that he don't know something, because first of all, he's not Jesus. And second of all, he's not Martin Luther King either. So he didn't know that either. So we need to let him know he's not Jesus, he's not Martin Luther King. Now I need to get back to his evildoing to this country and to our people here. Because he also called our men and women in blue thugs and bullies. And does he not know by calling them names, make the morale go down? Get the recruitment down. And does he not know it's also show disrespectful to our law enforcement? So I want all you to know we want to respect our law enforcement, because this is the toughest time in America to be in law enforcement. So we got to show that respect. But he believes in no cash bail, not holding people responsible. But in the great book that I read, that he should have been reading, it says, you remember Adam and Eve was in this place, and God says from this place here you have total freedom. But if you touch or eat from this tree here, you will surely die. They were held to responsibility. So if people commit a crime, we need to hold them responsible for what they do, and that show our men and law enforcement that we're going to have their backs as they have your back. That's what we got to do. So he didn't know that that doesn't work. And then he said something else. He said something else. Now he just keep going on and on and on. He said you have to know something. But he don't know that I will support our men and women in blue, and I also will support our military. Because wait. Because he said this too. He said you can't serve the military God at the same time. And I'm like, where is he from? Because he's not God.
Well, he's going to hell.
And no, let's not send him to hell yet, because he can repent. No, he can repent. Well, first of all, repentance is what he need to do. Because you can serve God in the military. That's the reason we're the greatest country in the world today. We have the greatest military in the world. And they have done so much for this country, but yet the man around again thinking about pronouns in our military. Y'all know what pronouns are, don't you? Are y'all sick and tired of pronouns? I am. So what we're going to do, we're going to call his pronoun former senator. Former senator pronoun Warnock. Because any time for people with attitude like that to leave your office, because that office belongs to the people of Georgia. And it doesn't belong to him, but yet he's saying you have to know something. Well, he don't know. It is time for him to go. And that's what you got to do, because you can't bring pronouns in the military. And then this is another thing. He is thinking about it, because this administration is talking about negotiating with Iran. Do y'all know Iran chant death to America? Death to Israel, our greatest ally? Do they not know they are terrorists? They don't know the definition of that either, do they? They just keep trying to change the definition of what's going on. Well, we need to let them know it is time for them to get out of this office, because it's time for us to go to the polls. The way we can do it, go to the polls, and we got to vote. We got to vote, so you want to tell 10 of your friends to go to the polls with you to vote. And if you don't have no friends, make some friends and tell them to go to the polls and vote. Because we got to get people that don't believe in this country out of this country. As my father said when I was growing up as a little boy, he said, if you don't like the rules underneath my roof, you leave my house. That maybe it's time that we as leaders tell these people, if you don't like the rules of the United States of America, you can leave America. We're not keeping you here. You can leave. And they need to know this. They need to know this. No. They need to know this. Other countries got to take you, though. Because they're not like what they're doing to this country, where they got our border wide open. They open up this border wide open. So we need to ask what the senator may not know, that our vice president said his border was secured. Does he believe this border is secure? See, he don't want to talk about it. Have you heard him mention anything to do? Well, I'm going to tell you how we can secure this border. Maybe if we can get some judges down at the border, and we can try people as they're coming across before they get here, whether they legally come across or not legally come across, then we can send them right back. That's what we can get done like real quickly. But we got to support this border and get this border secured, and we can do it. We can do it because there's rules on the book to get it done, but we got people in Washington that are weak. Y'all seen the weakness they had. Joe Biden showed it in Afghanistan, did he not? He showed it, and they're not talking about those 13 service members that was killed. Those are brothers and sisters of people. They're not talking about it, but I'm going to talk about it. We need weak leaders out of Washington. We need to let America know that we're good people here. And Dr. Carson talked about it, racism. Whoa, what are they talking about? Y'all realize I was black when I walked up, didn't you? You didn't know it at first. You didn't know it until they started talking about it, because I didn't know I was black until the other day. But let me tell you about this black and white thing. Because in my book that I read, I'm reading that good book. God knows nothing about your color, and he don't care about your color. He cares about your heart. So that's what God knows, your heart. But the guy I'm running against, the man on the cross, all he does is talk about your color and your skin. But I want him to know that God said a house divided cannot stand. So why is he trying to divide God's house? Why don't he try to bring us together? That's what I don't do, bring us together. Because I'm going to tell you something you may not know, and he didn't know this either, that 23andMe has screwed us all up. And we don't know what color we are, but it don't matter, because we're Americans. That's what matters. We're Americans, and that's what we need to get back to being American, and being what America. Wait. And Dr. Carson talked about this too. And he may not know, he got to leave our kids alone. They got to leave our kids alone, because you want to get involved with what's going on in your kids at school. They call you domestic terrorists. Where did they come with that at? They want to teach your kids about critical race theory. Like instead of teaching them how to spell and arithmetic, they want to teach your kid about gender ideology and teaching them how to spell. And then they want to, the way they can keep your kids safe, get rid of those 87,000 RS agents and get a police officer each one of those kids. Because all those 87,000 RS agents got to come after you. Y'all know that. They're coming after me. They're not, what are they going to do? They're not going to be hanging out at somebody else's office. They're coming after us. So why are they not getting rid of all those 87,000 RS agents? And then this was so funny. Do y'all know, during the general, he spent $100 million against me. Can you believe it? Yeah, $100 million in the race versus the tie. Which meant he don't know how to spend his money, so why is he spending your money? That's what you got to quit spending your money. And that's what he's forgotten how to do. Because they keep spending money that we don't have. And I can tell you this right here, when you spend money you don't have, that credit runs up. Somebody got to pay. Who's going to pay? Yeah, we're paying. Because he said it himself. He said, you know what I really look forward to when I went in to see Joe Biden, to tell him to get that student loan. And y'all believe it? Yes, he did. He was the one that said he wanted to do that student loan. Like, student loan? Did y'all co-sign for anybody loan? I never co-signed for nobody loan, and it's $400 billion loan. And I never signed for it. That's unfair. It's not right. But this was so funny. I remember seeing this interview. They were asking them kids what they were going to do with the money. Y'all saw what they were going to do. They were going to go on vacation. Yeah, they were going to dinner, going buying video games, buying booze, drugs, and gambling. And I was like, they're hanging out with Hunter Biden. That's what they're doing. They're hanging out with him. They're not going to school to do that. See, now, he don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason he can't be senator for Georgia, because he voted with Joe Biden 96% of the time. Hey, I know, wait. That means either he likes Joe Biden or he has no clue of what he's doing. He can pick one of them. No, he can pick one of them. He can only pick one. He has no clue of what he's doing. Because I'm going to tell you what, I remember at that debate, he said to me, he said, Herschel, you don't believe in inflation reduction? I said, don't reduce inflation. He didn't know it don't reduce inflation. He's thinking that inflation reduction, I reduce inflation. I'm like, induce, it means when you get rid of inflation, that means it got to go away. Not increase. That's a different word. See, they made up a different word for increasing inflation. That means increase. See, that's the problem he got right now. He got the problem right now that he's trying to mislead you. I'm going to tell you about this misleading thing. I'm going to tell you about, I always tell the story about this man that died early in life. Have y'all heard about it? Yeah, this guy died early in life, and as he got to heaven, St. Peter met him at the pearly gates. And St. Peter said, sir, you're here a little bit early right now. He said, your name ain't on the roll. He said, but you're the only one in history that's going to get an opportunity to decide where you want to go. He said, I'm going to take you to heaven and I'm going to take you to hell, and you can determine where you like to be. And all of a sudden, he puts him in his elevator, takes him all the way down to hell, and there's a party going on. And the guy sees some of his friends out there, they're having a good time. And all of a sudden, St. Peter came to him and said, are you ready to go? You ready to go? He said, I got to leave now. He said, yes, you got an important decision to make. So he puts him in his elevator, takes him all the way up to heaven. They get to heaven, there are people floating around on clouds, having a good time, just talking. And after a couple of hours, St. Peter came to him and said, have you made your mind up? Have you made your mind up? And the guy said, well, St. Pete, I hate to tell you this, I think I want to go to hell. Said, that seems like my type of place. St. Peter said, you sure? He said, yeah. So he puts him in his elevator, sends him all the way back down to hell. Now and the doors open up, it's hot. People crying, they're miserable. And the guy said, wait a minute, a couple of hours ago when I was here, there was a party going on. And Satan shows up and said, a couple of hours ago, I was campaigning. And I said, that's what Senator Warnock been doing to you. He is lying to you so much because he's campaigning now because he wants your vote. He hasn't done nothing since he's been in Washington. Y'all see what we had today? The inflation is high. Gas prices is high. Your grocery prices were high. But that turkey costs a lot more than it normally costs, did it not? And then like that, you see all this stuff. Hey, the farmer, you can't even be a farmer today because of Senator Warnock. Crime is up. Y'all see the crime in the street because of Senator Warnock. What's happening in our schools, what's happening in this country is because of Senator Warnock. 2 years, not quite 2 years in office. And now he's asking for 6 more years. Does he not know it doesn't work? Does he not know you normally get fired for something like that? So that's what we need to do. We need to tell him he's fired. Get out of that office. And then, no. What we need to do is tell him, don't let that door hit you in the backside as you leave the people's office. Because what he has done to this country and to the state of Georgia is a shame. And tell him to be honest, because I can tell you this right here. If he won't keep the oath to my heavenly Father and your heavenly Father, do you really believe he's going to keep it for you? He hasn't kept it for him. He's not going to keep it for you. He's this slick, talking, smooth, walking man that my father told me about. Don't you trust those people? Those people are going to continue to take your money and spend your money. Going to continue to hide in the shadows as he continues to destroy your life. And I'm telling you right here, as my offensive lineman told me, Herschel, you follow me, I'm going to take you to the promised land. So I will promise all of you, you vote for me, I'm going to help us all get to the promised land. Because that's what we're going to do. And I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for coming out. And as I said, I want y'all to know this. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. This is going to be one of the most important elections in our lifetime right now. Don't let them do to this country, because this flag that we have, this flag and this national anthem that we decided that we're going to let people kneel for and sit for is not going to happen on my watch. Because I'm going to be old enough and I'm going to be a man enough to tell them, you either stand up or you get out. You either stand up or you get out, because too many people have sacrificed. Too many people have died for us to have the freedoms and liberties that we have today, to have these people to disrespect what we got going on. And Dr. Carson said that we come a long way, have we? We come a long way. We ain't turning back now. Because they're trying to turn us back right now. Because I remember this, and y'all remember this too. Y'all remember Archie Bunker? Yeah, y'all remember Archie Bunker. Today, Archie Bunker could be on air. Today, Flip Wilson couldn't be on air. That's just for fun, just having a good time. But if we continue to let people do what we're doing right now, the government will control your life. And yet, if you read about Venezuela, you read about those countries, see what's happening in such a short time. They changed it. It's not what it used to be. But I can promise you this, not on my watch. God bless you guys. Thank you guys.